Why do we put up with so many things in our lives that make us unhappy or miserable, or worse yet, things that literally threaten our health, our well-being, our very lives? I mean, why do so many people yearn for a better life, but yet they just go through the motions day after day after day, doing the same things over and over again, justifying why they should be happy with what they're stuck with? And what about topics like domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, stalking? Those are topics most people won't even discuss, preferring to say things like, that's just something you see on TV. That would never happen to me. Yet statistics clearly show that 1 in 4 Americans are victims of domestic violence, and 1 in 7 women have been stalked by an intimate partner to the point that they're afraid of injury or death. People are living in fear and misery, stuck in a cycle. Why? And what can we do about it? What if there was a better way? What if there was a way to be happy and fulfilled and to actually live life on our own terms? Well, there is a better way. And that's what today, this talk, and the 4-part video series that follows it, the whole 5-part video series in whole, is all about. I'm Deb Cheslow, and I'm going to take you on a journey into what is likely uncharted territory. I'm going to show you why people put up with things that they shouldn't, why change is so hard, and then I'm going to show you how we can fight back, take control of our lives, and actually create lives worth living. Does that sound good? You ready? Okay, so let's dive in. How many of you have seen an elephant before? Big, strong. Do you see that stake in the ground? It's in the sand. Do you really think he can't get away? I mean, right in front of him is a big open field, the opportunity of a lifetime. But he won't budge from that spot. He stands there day after day after day. Why? What's holding him back? Anybody? Logic? Conditioning? Beliefs? Absolutely. He believes he can't get away. Logic lies. See, the first thing a trainer does when he gets a new baby elephant is chain him to a stake. Only this time it's a big, heavy chain, and that stake is in concrete. Now, that little baby wants his freedom. He will tug and pull, pour every ounce of energy he has into getting away. He'll work himself into a fit of exhaustion, pass out, wake up, start all over again, day after day after day. It's really sad. But then a pivotal thing happens at about the 6-month point. He stops trying. He gives up and resigns himself to the fact that there is no hope. And he's probably saying things to himself like, it is what it is. This is my lot in life. It doesn't matter what I do. And then he starts justifying, you know what? I should be happy. I have food. I have water. Someone's taking care of me. He grows to maturity, lives out his days, and never once gives that little tug it would take to step out into a grand new future. And the only thing holding him back is a bunch of self-imposed limitations, his logic. Does that sound familiar? That's us, right? That's the human condition. We have been conditioned to believe that we are chained to our circumstances, that times are tough. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. He didn't mean to hurt me. I just don't want to be alone. I can't because. I can't because I'm a woman. I can't because I didn't go to college. I can't because I'm too old. And on it goes. We're taught, actually conditioned, to use logic to make our decisions, to play it safe, settle for the status quo, and justify why we should be happy with what we're stuck with. So what I'm going to share with you right now is not going to make much sense at first. But hang in there and we'll get you through it, okay? Logic is the problem. Logic is what's holding us back. It's the key to failure. It's what we've been taught, to weigh the pros and the cons, take a baby step, play it safe, protect yourself, don't take a risk. So before we look at what logic is, let me give you an example. One of my clients, we'll call her Sally. Her story is in my book, Unreal. She's married. She has a wonderful young son, beautiful home, financial stability, and on the surface, it looks like she's living the life of her dreams, living on her own terms. But there's a problem. Jack, her husband, has a temper. Now, one minute he's loving and kind. The next minute he's yelling, saying hateful things. Sometimes he hits Sally, puts his hands around her throat. And in those moments, Sally's scared for herself and her son. She knows something's just not quite right. She has thoughts of leaving. But then Jack calms down. He apologizes, begs forgiveness, promises he will never do it again. And Sally breathes a sigh of relief, counts her blessings, thinking things like, I know Jack loves me. I know he didn't mean to hurt me. He's just under a lot of stress right now. I'm so lucky to have him. I mean, my son needs a father in the home. He deserves that. I can't even imagine being alone at this point. So she clings to the false hope that he's going to change this time. Life goes on, and then the cycle repeats. So the question is, how do we break the cycle? Well, we have to get past the logic. Logic is the problem. So what is logic? Logic is everything we've done. It's everything we know. It's our history, our experiences, the emotions that go with it. It's our present knowledge and our past experience. So how can we use that to do something we've never done before? The truth is we can't. Logic is absolutely guaranteed to keep us stuck. Pretty sad, huh? But there's a way around it. Think about little babies learning to walk. They don't have any logic, any history, any experiences holding them back, keeping them stuck. And so they learn really quickly, right? But then as parents, how many times have we had to run chasing after our children once they learned where those little legs would take them? But as adults, it just doesn't work that way anymore. Anytime we get a new idea, logic triggers all these emotions that hold us back. Logic basically sends up feelings of fear. It's a fear of change, a fear of the unknown. And it makes sense. If we want to achieve our greatest goals, then we have to discover how to develop the courage to overcome that fear, to get past what's holding us back. See, anytime we try something new, step out into the unknown, step outside our comfort zone, we're going to be uncomfortable. And part of the problem is it happens unexpectedly sometimes. I mean, have you ever had one of those days where everything was going just right? You are loving life, you're in a groove, and then wham, that bottom just drops out from under you? Well, that's what happened to me. Coming out of college, or coming out of high school, I was on fire. And I had a crazy dream, maybe even unrealistic. I went to college, got an aerospace engineering degree. I became an Air Force pilot. I flew supersonic jets. I met and married the man of my dreams. And we had 2 beautiful, healthy children right on schedule. Now remember, aerospace engineer, I plan everything. Well, my first child, Erin, was born right on her due date. My second child, Jamie, was 2 days late, and I didn't know what to do with myself. But seriously, Mark was an incredible father and husband. I mean, he used to bring me flowers just 'cause. How cool is that? But then one day, we were making Christmas cookies, watching the kids play in the snow in Virginia. And wham, that bottom dropped out from under me. He told me he was leaving me for somebody else. After 11 wonderful years, wham, it was over. And 10 days later, he and all of his stuff were gone forever. Now, you want to talk about being out of control? I was devastated. I was scared. Suddenly, my life was upside down. I was alone. I was a single parent. Well, the fear overwhelmed me. The logic consumed me. And for the next 8 years, I threw the grandest pity party ever known. I had a dead-end job that I actually absolutely hated. My health went so far downhill that I was literally taking prescription medications all day long, whose side effects were worse than what was wrong with me, but yet I believed I needed them just to function. And my answer to all that was antidepressants. At 37 years old, I honestly believed like the best of life was behind me. But then I had a wake-up call, an aha moment. I went back to the system I discovered in the Air Force, the one I'm sharing with you today. And I made some decisions, some choices. I took action. At 38 years old, I started studying Chinese Kempo Karate. I quit that dead-end job, started my own business, moved to Florida. I even ended up starting a nonprofit that's making a difference in the world, helping to put a stop to the cycle of domestic violence and abuse. See, it's absolutely incredible what we can accomplish when we get past the logic that's holding us back. But that logic is incredibly powerful. Take a look at this cinder brick. It's made out of concrete. We build houses out of them. Okay? That's a picture of me several years ago, and that's a stack of 8 of these concrete bricks. What does your logic tell you right now about the possibility of breaking through a stack of those with your bare hand? Come on, I'm going to stack some up right here. I need a volunteer. Somebody come up here. Hit it as hard as you can. Trust me. Let's just see what happens. How many of you would hesitate to do that? How many of you think I'm nuts? Yeah, it's stupid. It's illogical. We have been conditioned, just like the chained elephant, to believe that something like that is just not possible, that we're going to get hurt. See, logic manifests itself in our lives in all kinds of ways. So let's take a look at some of them. Let's put a name on every one of these bricks. Fear, worry, doubt, doing what everybody else is doing, trying to do it all yourself, blaming, complaining, justifying, playing it safe, settling, squirreling off all over the place, looking for the next magic bullet, procrastinating, quitting. I think we can all agree we all have problems with some of those things, right? Just imagine what life could be like if we could break through the logic and overcome every one of those obstacles. See, that's exactly what every student in Chinese Kempo Karate has to do in order to get their black belt. And as an instructor, it's my job to teach them how. So I'm a 3rd-degree black belt instructor, and I can tell you that no matter how big and strong my students are, no matter how well they know the technique, they still have to get past those thoughts of concrete, hand, concrete's going to win? Can I really do that? What if it doesn't break? How bad is it going to hurt? Well, I have to help them put the logic aside, the fears, the doubts, to change their beliefs, and to hit that thing as hard as they can, and know that it's going to break. So I've taught 12-year-old girls how to do this. I have watched women in their 50s and 60s shatter stacks of bricks. It's their belief and confidence that leads to success. Their willingness to put logic aside and change their perception of what is possible. So we work with companies, teams, organizations all over the world, and most importantly with people just like you, and teach them to put the logic aside, to face their fears, to change their perception, to take the big actions that lead to big results. But in order to do that, we have to defy conventional wisdom. So are you willing to do that? You ready? Okay, so here's the myth. If we want to achieve and be successful in life, then we have to know where we are, where we're going, and have a path for getting there. How many of us have heard that before? That's what every motivational speaker, personal development guru, self-help book out there is telling us. But it just doesn't work that way. Has anything in your life ever gone that smoothly? Ever? No. You want to know what it really looks like? This is what it really looks like. Success is a journey. It's never a straight line from A to B. And just like any other trip, there are going to be roadblocks, setbacks, detours, potholes, all along the way. And the only thing that's going to keep us going is the strength of our vision, our burning desire to achieve our goal no matter what, and the systems we have in place to keep us moving forward. And that's what I'm introducing you to today. A system I learned in the Air Force teaching airmen to fly advanced supersonic jets. A system I've used and honed over the years to transform thousands of lives. It's based on 4 pillars: standards, discipline, accountability, and systems. This is a process that can be duplicated by any business, team, organization. It can be used by every one of us right now to take things to the next level, to break the cycle. So let's take a look at what it looks like. Do you ever imagine what could happen if we had a standard, a dream, a vision, a goal, and the discipline to take daily consistent action towards that goal? See, when most of us hear that word discipline, we think punishment. But discipline at its most basic level is giving yourself a command and following it. Self-discipline. Without it, we are never going to achieve long-term success. We actually teach you how to make self-discipline a habit. Think about it. Where would you be if every time you said, "I should," you actually did? And what if we had accountability in place at various levels to ensure action, ensure results, and systems in the background backing it all up to keep us moving when the going gets tough? Can you see the potential? Okay, so let's talk about how to put it to use. Ready, aim, fire. How many of us have heard that before? Get ready, figure out a plan, get ready some more. Okay, ready, aim, fire. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't think about that. What about this? Oh, I don't know. See, nobody ever gets to the fire, the action part. That is a recipe for failure. So what if we forget what we've been taught? What if we put logic aside, go against conventional wisdom, get that chain off of our leg, and what if we agree that ready, aim, fire doesn't work? It never has, it never will. Logic keeps us stuck in a loop, getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. Now, the good side is, we will become a master of the ever-popular procrastination flowchart. So what if we forget all that? What if we do this instead? Aim, fire, ready. Take aim, set the standard, dare to dream. Fire, take action, pull the trigger, put it into play. Don't worry about the how. I promise you will get ready along the way. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need a plan. We need daily plan, consistent action. We just don't need to be ready for every single possible remote what-if thing that might come up to get started. This is how Sally, remember Sally? That's how she broke the cycle and got rid of the abuse in her life and started living life on her own terms. She took aim and dared to dream of a better life for her and her young son. Now, she was scared out of her mind, but aim, fire, ready, she fired. She found the courage to take the first step. She reached out for help. She used resources like the ones we're going to be sharing with you in the upcoming 4 parts of this TV series. She didn't know how it was going to all work out. She wasn't ready, but one step at a time, she figured it out. And last I heard, her and her son had started an exciting new life in a wonderful, safe environment. The system works. If it worked for Sally, it can work for you. So, first step, take aim. Set the standard. That's the first pillar. See, we have to have a destination, a goal, a vision, because just like any other trip, if we don't know where we're going, then how do we know which way to turn when we get to the end of the street? Right? So the question is, what do you want? Not what do you think you can get, not what do other people think you should want, but what do you want? Remember my dream? I had plenty of people tell me this was stupid, illogical, doomed to fail. This is back in the 80s. Women weren't allowed to fly in combat. There were very few women pilots in the military, period. I was heading off to Virginia Tech, a school with a rich military history, and in over 100 years, there had never been a female Air Force pilot graduate. And the Air Force has pretty strict requirements regarding health, like perfect eyesight. Well, I had eye surgery as a small child, so that should have disqualified me right there. It seemed like an impossible obstacle. Yet I flew supersonic jets during the Desert Storm War era. I was on the cover of Air Force Times magazine. Since then, in the business world, I've been on TV and magazines, hundreds of articles. I'm a #1 international award-winning best-selling author. The list goes on and on. My point? It all happened because I dared to dream. It all started as an unrealistic fantasy. What if I had listened to the naysayers, allowed them to change me? See, I went after my dream. I didn't say I can't because. I think Michelangelo has a really powerful lesson for all of us. He says the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss, but that it's too low and we actually get what we want. See, so many of us are putting up with things we don't have to. And it doesn't have to be that way. That's what the system and the 5-part series are all about, breaking the cycle and changing the thermostat. So think of it like a thermostat. It's set for 72 degrees in your house. It's a hot summer day. People are coming in and out of the door. The temperature starts to rise, slowly but surely. So the thermostat kicks on, turns on the air conditioner, and slowly but surely that temperature starts to go back down where it belongs, to its set point automatically. Well, our logic, our beliefs, our conditioning, those are like thermostats in our lives, and they have a set point that we always revert back to automatically. So we are essentially thermostat bobbleheads. This is why most welfare recipients are third generation. Kids grow up on welfare, that's all they know, and so they end up on welfare. This is why we have problems with things like domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, sexual assault. Sometimes people stay in a relationship that's abusive because that's all they've known their whole lives, and they think the abusive components of the relationship are normal. I mean, just think about a little boy and girl that grow up in a home where dad's always yelling at mom and lashing out at anger, like Jack did to Sally. Doesn't it make sense that that little boy would think it was okay to lash out when he got angry? And doesn't it make sense that that little girl would grow up believing that it's just normal for men to lash out and for women to just take it? See, it doesn't have to be that way. So where is your thermostat set? For income? For weight? How do you treat others? How do you let others treat you? We don't have to settle for things in our lives that make us unhappy or miserable. We can change the thermostat and break the cycle. How? Well, the first step is to take aim, to hold the image of the person you want to be, of the life you want to lead. Anything is possible. The second step is to fire, and that's where the second pillar comes in, discipline. Just imagine what life could be like if we had the discipline to take daily consistent action towards our goals. But remember, it is not going to be easy. There are going to be obstacles and setbacks every step of the way. But we don't have to be ready for every obstacle that might pop up. And also realize that we're going to need help. That's where step 3 comes into play. Because we don't have to see the whole staircase, we just have to see the first step. And then we have to get ready. The third step in aim, fire, ready. And we're going to need help to do that because change isn't easy. So we're going to need to reach out for help. That's why we need the third and the fourth pillars, accountability and systems. See, accountability bridges the gap between intention and results. Think about it. Change is not easy. It's scary. It can be terrifying. Every step of the way, logic is tugging and pulling, holding us back, keeping us stuck. And sooner or later, it's going to get overwhelming because as human beings, we are not designed to get past our own logic. Accountability, again, it bridges the gap between intention and results. We all need someone to hold us accountable, to push us through those tight spots, to push us past our fear and our discomfort. But let's face it, no matter how much somebody wants to help us, they can't be with us every minute of every day. So that's where the fourth pillar comes into play, systems. Systems save us time, energy, money, and sanity. They help us break through the logic and push through the tough spots when our mentors and the other people we're depending on can't be there to help. So here's the question I like to ask. Do you want to be most people, or do you want to be remarkable? We don't have to put up with the aspects of our lives that we're not happy with. We don't have to struggle financially or with our health or with our relationships. Things like domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, sexual assault are not okay. So harness the power of the system. Set the standard, dare to dream. Have the discipline to take daily consistent action towards your dreams. Put accountability in place to ensure action, ensure results. And have systems there to back it all up and keep you moving forward when the going gets tough. And be sure to join us for the remaining 4 parts of this series, where I'm going to talk with experts and professionals in the fields of domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, sexual assault. And we're going to share some of the resources that are available to take that first step and beyond. Aim, fire, ready. Decide what you want and go after it. It's time to break through the logic, break through the fear. It's time to get unstuck and go after what you really want and get what you really want. So take a look at this. That's me in the corner over there, and that's a stack of 8 of those bricks. Watch. dust. Look at the pile of rubble. I am 52 years old. I'm 135-ish pounds. That's a stack of concrete. I shouldn't have been able to do that. But anything is possible. So we all have choices. Do you want to be the chained elephant? Or do you want to run towards a bright new future and leave the past in the past? See, the person that says it can't be done needs to get out of the way of the person doing it. Where would you be if every time you said, I should, you did? Go out there and make your dreams come true. I look forward to hearing about your success. Thanks.